Hello everybody, my name is Caroline and today I am going to present to you one of Mexico's greatest photographers, Graciela Iturbide. So for over 5 decades, she has been image making and is known for her stunning high contrast black and white images. And according to Alyssa Goodman, these images, her style, raises documentary photography to a poetic plane. So let's see for ourselves what she means by this. This photograph here is called La Señora de las Iguanas, Nuestra Señora de las Iguanas, and it is one of the most famous photographs from Mexico. And I'm going to do a little critical analysis of this particular photograph because it is so striking and so stunning, and has been interpreted by other artists in other mediums. So let's start by looking at the cropping of the photograph. It's a close crop to the crown of iguanas and just below the breast of the woman. And so her face is the central focus of the composition, even though she has this incredible wreath of iguanas on her head. Her eyes gaze towards an unknown horizon, and the proud iguana at the pinnacle of the crown stares back into our astonished eyes, head poised towards the heavens from whence they all came in their zoomorphic splendor, iguana hand on hip. I'll just give you a minute to take that all in, particularly the iguana with the hand on their hip. There is a feeling of communal exaltation, highlighted by the reflection of light on her face, creating that central focus I just mentioned, drawing us into her all-knowing eyes, and the dark shadows beneath the entanglement above her face with her hair, the darkness of her shirt really serve that contrast with the light on her face, and also the gradation of light amongst the iguanas and in the background, lightening up towards the top of the composition. Kind of draws our eyes up in the same way that her eyes are drawn up. Together, the woman and the creatures, the iguanas, are like an otherworldly Medusa, but with iguanas. It is unfathomable how her face is not scratched to bits, and the synergy of woman and beast is a fantastic image. This is a theme that pervades Iturbide's work, but never quite to the stunning measure of this regalia of reptiles. You cannot help but stare and wonder. The story behind this infamous image is that there was actually a lot of laughing and wriggling, but Iturbide somehow captured a unique moment to express the world, the mythical place of Mexico, created by its creatures, its people, and the magic tapestry of life they weave together. Looking at this picture, it feels entirely possible that the spirit of the place called Juchitan possessed her camera and said, "Show them how wild and beautiful we are." So Iturbide makes a very important statement about her process. The idea that there are these two significant moments: taking the photograph and choosing the photograph. So looking at these two images from the contact sheet of Nuestra Señora de las Iguanas, we can see how actually there was this sort of chaotic laughing and the iguanas being all atop her head. And this really exemplifies that idea of choosing the moment. And here's an example of how other artists were inspired by that one significant moment that she chose. This is an example of that image rendered into a mural in Los Angeles by another artist. So this idea of raising documentary photography into poetry, echoed here by Iturbide's own words. So I essentially look for everywhere is poetry. And this image is called Mujer Angel, meaning angel woman. And it's part of an ethnographic project she did in the Sonoran Desert with the Suri people. And at first, this image almost has a ghoulish type feel. We're not sure what the figure is doing, why her arms are so outstretched, why there's so much fabric in her outfit, and certainly why she's carrying this strange little black box into this vast desert scape. But there's certainly something poetic about it. The flowing of the hair and the fabric, the frazzled leaves, maybe flowers in the foreground, expressing that dry desert environment to us, really standing out against the bright light sky, filling the background. Photography for me is just an excuse to get to know the world. And also, I believe she said, to get to know a culture. And this idea of how culture is born of a place. And Mexico has many subcultures within it, from its varied indigenous peoples to the mixing of peoples when the Spanish came in, and the modern world and the old world, the city dwellers and the country dwellers. So she did a 10-year ethnographic look at the people of Juchitán, Mexico in the 70s and 80s. And she captured a lot of women in particular, this matriarchal society there. And also animals fill a lot of her work, as they are part of life, very much so in Mexico. Here's an example of just daily life. And here is about a girl's first communion wearing the skull, which is often part of common customs within Mexico. Day of the Dead, of course, everyone's heard of. More examples of these women. This lady is actually Suri from the Sonoran Desert. You can see the prickly cactus plants behind her and her weathered face and the strength of her personality. Quite different from Jujitan, where the lady is more jovial, drinking a beer and capturing the essence of both of them in black and white. So I agree with Iturbide that Mexico really does have one of the richest cultures there is to be had, as well as incredible landscapes, history, art, resources, and I've often wondered too about the Mexican dream. And so here she says, there is no need to pursue the American dream. We have our own here too. And I'll leave with this image of a parade, mask and skeleton, very likely Day of the Dead. It's a dreamlike image that often can be seen in the way she puts photographs together.